Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Games. I'm Jake, and with me, Steven. Say hi.
Hi.
Thank you. And this is a forward...
I don't know what... What did I do wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong. This is a forward-compatible preview. Forward-compatible is a series that we do here where we play through a game that we haven't played in at least 5 years and kind of do a look back to see what the game is like now with our fresh, new, modern eyes, and we try to see if the game is forward compatible with who we are today. So, Steven spends the whole month playing through a specific game, live streaming it with you so that you can give your thoughts as you watch him play. Steven then writes a review. I take his thoughts and comments and make a review video out of it, and we produce all of this lovely content for you folks. So, this is a month-long event. We're getting a little late start here in April. There's a lot of things to blame for that, but we're not going to talk about it. But without further ado, and you may have already seen it in the title, but this month's game is Bioshock. So, Steven, tell us a little bit about this game.
So Bioshock is one of those games that a lot of people would say that it's one of the best games they've ever played, or at least they would have said that at one point. In fact, I think there was some bullcrap list on G4. You remember G4 back when that was a channel?
I remember that.
Yeah, there was some list they did on G4 that was narrated by Nolan North. It was a big deal. It was a big deal. That was like top 100 video games of all time. Just to give you an idea of how bullcrap this list was, Excite Bike was above Gears of War 2. You know? But Bioshock was number 2, I think. I think it was number 2 of all time. And Super Mario was number 1 because nostalgia. But Bioshock was a big deal. And it's hard to say why, because I started playing Bioshock, like the first time I played it was about exactly 5 years ago. Was the first time I fully played through Bioshock 1. But that was before I started doing like channel stuff, started doing video game reviews. And so I remember how I felt a little bit more vividly, but it's going to be nice to be able to play it again, knowing that I need to be looking for a way to put how it is into words, if that makes sense. But Bioshock is a first-person shooter where you play as some guy going to a city called Rapture. I said I remembered some things vividly, not all of the things. But you go to this city called Rapture, and trying to not reveal my hand too much, but I guess I'll go ahead and do that. Rapture is this city that was made underwater that, if I'm remembering this correctly, and let me add my disclaimer here, if I'm wrong about any of the things I'm saying, I'm going off of my memories. Memories are...
That's the whole point of the preview.
Yes, that's the whole point of the preview. You guys get to see how wrong I was leading up to the review. But basically, Rapture is this city that was made by this guy who was basically like, let's make a paradise, a utopia where science can reign. None of that believing in God, religion, dogmatic nonsense. Let's just go make a place where science can prosper, it can flourish. And it horribly backfires, where basically everyone there turns into a monster. And it's this, and I say all this so impassioned because Rapture's the best part of the game, as far as I remember. It's the reason that game stuck with me, because it's basically a characterization of like a biblical hell. And this is me saying this as a person that works in a church, that has been going to church my whole life, that was raised in church. But it's that whole idea of separation from God, separation from faith, everything. Basically a place where you are just separated. And what better place to characterize that than not fire and brimstone like you would think, but a city underwater where no one can hear you scream. and it's so well done. Like, it's one of those games where I've said in the past that games you probably won't see me review very much are horror games or talk about very much, but games like Metro, well, the whole Metro series, and Bioshock, one specifically, games that give you the means to defend yourself, but still run a chill down your spine and have you on constant edge, give you those horror elements. Those are the games that I love. Like, I love those kinds of games. And Bioshock is one of those where I remember always being terrified because I never felt like I was too equipped.
Right.
And I always felt like some crazy monster person with like the flesh of one of their most recent victims and like drug needles to kill me with was gonna come around the corner and try to kill me. and I remember the setting just being so well done that because you would find audio logs. I feel like it was one of the first games that really implemented that kind of finding audio logs to tell lore kind of thing. But you'd find them and they'd tell you about all these characters and they seemed all right and they seemed like good people, but those same people you might find 5 minutes later eating a carcass, basically. Yeah. Like, because everything just went to hell. And so like that's the main thing that really stuck with me, was just the setting and just the overall story. As far as like everything else, like the gameplay and the narrative, that's the part that I forget. And I'm excited to try it again because it did have this cool element of like you used guns, but you also used these superpowers. So that could be cool to get back into. But here's the thing, it came out a while ago.
Right.
And like, I don't even know when Bioshock 1 came out, like 2007, 2008, maybe?
Look that up real quick.
Yeah, please do. So, as I always say in these kinds of reviews, I don't think this will have aged well. But I'm hoping
2007.
2007, okay. Oh, I was right on my first guess, I think. I don't see. My memory's so bad, I can't even remember the year that I said less than a minute ago.
2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago. But I'm thinking it's going to be one of those that's captivating enough to where I'm still going to love every second of it. So I guess I'm answering, I feel like, some of your questions that you were probably going to ask me before you even asked them. But as far as the good that I'm anticipating, I'm gonna love being in Rapture again. Yeah, it's one of those places that like you're in it and you feel like you're in a place that exists, like not a place that exists in our world, but a place that exists in the mind of someone who created it. Yeah, you know, like it is more than just its hallways. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about just this, I guess its message. I don't know why you guys voted for such a bleak game right now. But I understand why you guys did, because a lot of you have played it and you remember it fondly, or you've at least heard people talk about it. It's one of those games that is kind of legendary, I feel like, because I don't think a lot of people, like, Bioshock's one of those games that not a lot of people aren't talking about it today, where like they don't talk about the game, but it's so recognizable and iconic. Yeah. To where like if Bioshock ever comes up, people are just like, oh yeah, the big daddies, or the little sisters, or the powers, or Rapture. Like it did such a good job at creating these ideas that were so iconic, and I'm really excited to dive back into those. But and I feel like this happens with every forward compatible, I'm just anticipating those really frustrating moments where I'm just like, it usually happens in part 2, so be sure to tune into part 2, where I'm just like, why am I doing this? Why did I pick this? I hate this series. Because of dated game mechanics. Right. But yeah, we'll see.
Was there anything you remember not liking about the game?
I feel like it did it had a little bit. I don't know if Metroidvania is the right way to put it, but it did have a bit of that feel of not knowing where you were supposed to go. And with the kind of game that it is, I wanted to experience that game, I think, more linear, to where like I wanted it to be one of those games where I was strapped in the seat, ready to just go on for the ride.
Right.
And I didn't want to have to go here, pick up this, go back to the entrance, find out I need to go over here and pick up something else, then go back to the entrance. I didn't want to have to do a lot of backtracking, and so I feel like there's a lot of backtracking in it.
Okay.
In that, and I guess, and that's where I guess I use the term Metroidvania, because there is that kind of aspect. It is linear, but there is a lot of retreading where you've already gone. I'm fully expecting the shooting to be not good. What else? And the narrative, I don't really remember the characters. And that's a big deal for me, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when I do reviews or when I talk about games, a lot of it is very character driven, because the characters are what stick with me, the people that are the vehicles for the story.
But in this case, it was more the world and the lore of the world that stuck with you.
Absolutely. It was the world and just that immersive aspect of being within it that gave me chills.
Yeah.
So in a sense, Rapture is the most memorable character in Bioshock. Well, and the Big Daddies. Those are memorable, but for a different reason.
They're just very memorable.
Like, in case you don't know what a Big Daddy is, I mean, I'm sure you do, but it's the dude in the diving suit. It's just this big hulking chungus that has a drill for an arm and can kill you without even thinking about it. So stuff like that, like it's more the imagery, specific moments, and the world itself that stuck with me in Bioshock. So it is one of those that very much feels like people don't play it again, and maybe this is why I don't hear people talking about it too much now, because I don't feel like it's one of those games that you replay that much, but you play it once and you're just like, I remember this about Bioshock, about Rapture and the Big Daddies, my first time fighting one, stuff like that. Right. It sticks with you in such a way to where you don't really feel the need to re-experience it, because I don't feel like the story was that memorable.
Right.
But the place was.
Yeah. Well, and you got Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite, so it kept moving, so you don't really feel the need to replay it, especially now. But anyway, well, this is going to be a very interesting month to see you rediscover some things. I'm interested to see if the narrative is going to end up sticking with you more now that you're playing through it, not remembering anything about it. Or we may come to find that nope, it's just not memorable at all, and that's why Steven forgot about it, and he's going to forget about it again. So
and I know there are a lot of diehard Bioshock people out there who may be watching this and thinking like, why is this guy doing this? What, he said a bad thing about Bioshock, kill him. Please please don't. I fully expect that, like, I'm not saying that these are facts. These are how I remember it, and I do these reviews to be proven wrong. And even in doing the reviews, a lot of you who watched my Force Unleashed review, I'm really proud of you guys. Those of you who did disagree, I'm really proud of you guys in the way you disagreed. So do that. Be that.
Respectfully disagree.
Respectfully disagree. And I'm totally fine with that. And if there's one thing I love, and it's one of the big reasons I do this series this way, I want your opinions. I want you, if you disagree, I want you to tell me that you disagree. And I especially want you to tell me, like, before I review it.
Yeah.
So that if I say something about, like, oh, I hate that this feature's in the game, this is dumb, it's so frustrating, and you can be like, well, Steven, hold on. Did you think about it this way? I can be like, oh my gosh, you just blew my mind, and you just totally affected the review that I was gonna write in a positive way. Let me credit you in that review. You'll totally get a shout out.
Yeah. So
I want your opinions.
This is all about interaction, and we want viewer involvement in this as much as possible. So be sure to tune into the live streams. We've gotten Steven's thoughts. We kind of have a baseline now, so we're going to see him play all month long, the rest of the month, and then we'll have a final review shortly after that. So going to try to play it all the way to completion. Steven is hoping to stream at least once, but maybe twice a week. So be looking forward to that. We should be streaming right after this. So if you're watching and you're interested, be sure to stick around. Otherwise,
depending on the time,
if you're not
this airs,
if you're not watching this live, it'll be we'll be going throughout the week. So be sure to stay tuned and subscribe and all that good stuff, and be involved. If you want to join our Discord, you can get to that in the description of this video, or you can go to chortlegames.com. That'll get you to our main channel page on YouTube. And you can follow that Discord link there and get in. We have a whole channel dedicated to Forward Compatible, so you can leave comments if we missed it during the live stream for some reason. We want those, and we appreciate those greatly. So be sure to interact and get involved with this. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Steven, for your thoughts. We'll be streaming Bioshock later tonight, so stay tuned.
Yep. See you in hell.
Otherwise known as Rapture.